there, and welcome to the second Dread Delusion dev diary. This time, we'll be exploring the game's setting, along with the regions and factions you'll encounter. Each of these features storylines that will change and react based on your choices. Dread Delusion's world was torn asunder by a catastrophe known as the World Rend. 400 years ago, the technologically advanced Emberian Empire was completely obliterated in this apocalyptic event, which rendered the planet's surface uninhabitable and forced the survivors to retreat to flying islands in the sky. These drifting lands are known as the Sky Realms, and humanity has had to adapt to a life on unstable footing. Airships slice through the sky, and many towns are built in arrogant defiance of gravity. As the player, your journey starts in the dank cell of an Inquisition prison. After a failed raid, an Inquisition agent offers your freedom on one condition. You must track down and apprehend Vila Kalos, the most dangerous mercenary leader in all the Sky Realms. It's a mission that will almost certainly lead to your untimely and probably excruciating death. And from here, you're let loose upon the Oniric Isles, the cluster of islands that make up the game's playable open world. Your first stop will be Hallowshire. It's a land of verdant forests and simple farmsteads that has recently been absorbed into the Apostatic Union. They are a powerful faction in the Sky Realms who have defined themselves by renouncing god worship and hunting down cultists. This puts them in stark opposition to the locals, many of whom have been relying on the favour of a local god for hundreds of years. Inquisition crackdowns have recently sparked a famine, and tensions are at breaking point. As a player, you'll have to decide whether to help the Apostatic Union enforce their rigid vision of prosperity, or help the downtrodden cultists reclaim their freedom. Although you could, of course, do neither, and while away the hours with questionable company in the Wobbly Noggin pub. Past the Union's borders, there are far older and stranger places to explore. In the Kingdom of the Endless, a deathless curse has taken root. Its ghoulish denizens once sought eternal life, though they have found the agony of a disintegrating body was a high price to pay. Haunting creatures and tormented ghosts stalk these eerie hills, and while most of the Endless have sealed themselves within great tombs, the town of Sepulchre still begrudgingly welcomes the coin of mortal travellers. Linger long enough, and you may hear whispers of a vengeful spirit trapped beneath the island that threatens to tear the land asunder. Meanwhile, far from the Kingdom of the Endless, a wholly different society is in a state of peril. The Clockwork Kingdom was founded by great alchemists and engineers whose genius made not only a complex industrial society, but a clockwork monarch to oversee and regulate it. But now their land is in disarray. The Clockwork King makes ever stranger decisions, while brutal repression keeps an impoverished population in check. Some say the Clockwork King even edits reality itself, a dangerous act of magic that spreads corruption through the kingdom. Oh, and I should mention that this area is, still in development. While these are the major factions that populate Dread Delusion's world, there are plenty more secrets and stories to uncover if you venture from the beaten path. Thanks for joining me in this brief tour of Dread Delusion's world. You can expect to find all these places and more when the full game ships. But in the meantime, stay tuned, because we'll have another developer diary heading your way soon.